You are watching Inside Mac Television. I am Brad Wright, and today I'm talking with John King, one half of the Dust Brothers, super record producer extraordinaire, and we are going to take a look around John's studio.
Very nice. So we got a big combination of analog and high-tech digital stuff here. So the center of the studio is Pro Tools. That's our tape machine, and virtual console here. So it's not like a real mixing board. It's a virtual mixing board. Little moving faders and lots of special monster power automatic voltage stabilizers and stuff. Speakers going, studio standard type stuff. These are all three studio standards: Genelex, Yamaha NS10s, and these Oratones. They're things that, you know, they may not be the greatest speakers in the world, although the Genelex sound awesome, but they're at every studio you go to. So you can go to another studio and they're gonna have those speakers there, and you'll be able to work and be comfortable. Over here we're getting analog. That was analog, but this is full-on analog. New tube tasty deliciousness by Manley, another terrific company. Empirical Labs makes fantastic stuff, especially this thing called a distressor, which is like a distortion compressor. The Beatles style vintage Telefunken mic pre's. This is the type of stuff the Beatles were using on their records. A modern version of it, not made anymore, collectible, called Mastering Lab mic pre. And then over here, all this crazy vintage stuff, these Pultec EQs used on all the amazing records that I loved from the 70s and 60s and before that. My favorite vocal compressor, Blackface 1176 vintage compressor, and then other versions that came before and after it, the LA3A, DBX, very classic compressor. This is the great LA2A, a tube compressor, wonderful for bass and acoustic guitar. And some more of kind of similar kind of stuff going on there. Neve Mastering EQ, it's a beautiful piece. I record most stuff through these things right here, which are Neve mic pre's pulled out of a mixing board. So I don't have a real mixing board, but I go through the channels that you'd go through, and then I get that sound going into Pro Tools, so it sounds awesome. And, you know, other weird stuff like this is supposed to be Jimmy Page's favorite compressor for guitar. It's huge, and my wiring guy told me if I stick my finger in there I could die, so don't stick your finger in there. And then, you know, I have not displayed right now is the massive collection of vintage microphones. The one that Sinatra always sang on and the Beatles used, the U-47. I use a couple of those, and vintage Neumann with a German military World War II tube in it that's rare as hen's teeth or whatever you say. And this thing, though, check that thing out. That's an Optagon, a very fun device. I don't know if I can turn it on or not. Let's see. I think I can. My daughter comes and plays it, so I don't know what's going to be in here. Oh! So this is a really freaky thing. There was like an early sampler, and these clear discs go in it. And the funny thing is, when you look closely at these discs, like holding it up to a light, you can see the little sound waves that just look just like sound files on, you know, whatever you're using, GarageBand or Pro Tools. They look just like it. So this is from the early 70s, and you know, each one of these is a loop, so you can press these buttons and play the different loops that are on here. But it's a total early version of a sampler, and it was made by the Mattel Toy Company in Compton, California. But there's a lot of rad discs for it, and it's been used on a few records by some cool people.
All right, John, that was awesome. That was really fantastic. A geek like me, that was absolutely amazing. You've been watching Inside Mac Television. I'm Brad Wright, and we've been here with John King. You want to find out more about Inside Mac Television? Go over to InsideMacTV.com. Thanks for watching.